Our story begins 150 million years ago. A once fertile landscape has been twisted by drought and forest fires. A small herd of survivors, whose numbers thin with every passing day, continue their search for water. They have found a small pasture with dry vegetation and several shallow puddles. A luxury after having traveled days without food or water. This barren land only offers little reprieve. Come noon, these puddles will evaporate under the sun's scorching gaze. But for now, it is enough to offer them time to rest for the journey ahead. Not a mouthful of water remains for even the herd's smallest member. They have no choice but to move on. Their only option, to move forward through a winding and narrow canyon. The towering walls and narrow passage is enough to cause a swelling anxiety within the herd. Heat and tensions rise. The narrowing canyon walls pack the herd together closely. The male Apatosaurus calls to his young, encouraging it to quicken its pace. If it can't keep up, it will be left behind. Navigating these canyons is difficult for even the most seasoned of herd members. Just one wrong turn, and this juvenile Dryosaurus finds herself alone, searching for her mother. Agitation and desperation only grows as the sun sets. The heat has made the herd desperate for water. Their pace slows, exhaustion sets in. Every winding turn only deepens their frustration, and their slowed march has provided the perfect opportunity for something else to catch up. This lone male Allosaurus knows that all good things come to those who wait. He watches patiently, biding his time. Day breaks once more as the unwavering heat clings to the air. The herd persisted and has now made it to the other side of the canyon. There, they are welcomed by a small oasis, nestled in between rocky walls and vast desert flatland. Not only is it a welcomed sight, it is a lifeline. They drink and wait eagerly, their drive for survival finally rewarded. But not all were so fortunate. This juvenile Dryosaurus succumbed to dehydration and exposure. However, one's loss is another's gain, and this exhausted male will take anything he can get. Loss is inevitable under such dire conditions. This is an undeniable truth that these herbivores know all too well. What was once a herd of hundreds has been reduced to a handful. The herd's excitement is palpable. The young splash and play excitedly as their parents look on. The juvenile's carefree nature seems to rub off on older members, enticing them to join in on the fun. They explore every corner of the oasis carefree, the canyon becoming a distant memory. by the oasis. The herd unwinds, cooled by starlight and still water. No sun, no struggle, just the gentle rhythm of life at rest. As morning arrives, the herd drifts between shade and sun, confident that the worst is behind them. Here, at the heart of the desert, the oasis offers everything they need, and so they choose to remain, unaware of what the winds are gathering beyond the horizon. It happens quickly, a sandstorm so intense it nearly blots out the sun entirely. There is no time to react, no shelter to seek. Visibility is non-existent between the now hazy landscape and sand pelting the herd's eyes. Panicked, the storm makes quick work of separating the herd. They call to one another, but their desperate cries are lost on the unforgiving winds. Day turns to night, with no sign of the storm slowing down. The herd is scattered, lost in the unrelenting, violent winds. This once exclusive paradise, now buried and lost under mounds of sand. The landscape destroyed beyond recognition. A bull, left behind in the now buried oasis, wanders aimlessly as he calls to his herd. Only the wind offers a reply. He is unaware that he is not entirely alone. The Allosaurus drinks quickly, desperate to have his fill before the sand lays its claim to the last remaining source of water. Pulled in by the cries of panicked herbivores, he listens attentively. It's not long before he finds the stranded bull, having followed its bellows. His patience has paid off. The Stegosaurus weakened by the storm. A perfect opportunity has presented itself. He will not squander it. The Allosaurus must eat quickly. It won't be long before the sand buries any trace of the carcass. As dawn emerges, the ferocity of the storm begins to wade. This foreign land has changed once more. There is no familiarity left behind come morning. The herd calls to one another, some reuniting quickly. Other calls go unanswered. This male Apatosaurus bellows desperately for his mate, only to be met with silence. Smaller members of the herd did not make it through the night. The roaring winds and sand were enough to choke out their last breath. The storm ceases at high noon, giving some the advantage of sight and opportunity. With no shade, water, or shelter, the herd is at the mercy of the scorching sun. They are exhausted from the onslaught of misfortune. They wander aimlessly in search of salvation, while nearby pterosaurs wait patiently for them to inevitably weaken. Like a modern-day vulture, this pterosaur follows the herd closely. Assessing who among them is weakening, he knows he won't have to wait much longer for his next meal. They travel well into the night. The sand begins to cool as the sun tucks itself behind the mountains. They know that rest is a luxury they cannot afford to spend all their time on. They must keep moving. The pterosaur's gaze is not the only thing that follows them in the dead of night. Just like the herd, this carnivore is trying to ensure his survival. The herbivores are his lifeline. He follows them closely, not only in hopes of securing a meal, but in hopes they, too, will lead him to water. He is an accomplished hunter, an apex predator of his time. But even he has found the conditions of this drought hard to navigate. With every day that passes, he weakens under the sun's brutal rays. He must choose his prey thoughtfully, careful how he expends his energy. He cannot ambush the herd in these open, flat lands. They are well aware of his presence. Without the element of surprise, he can only rely on brute strength to see him through. His nearing presence has agitated the herd. They will guard their young with their lives if they must. The lead bull is ready to protect his kin, accepting the Allosaurus's challenge. The brief altercation ends in a draw. He will need to aim for smaller, easier prey if he expects to eat. An Apatosaurus calf would be easy prey under normal circumstances. But the bull is on high alert and would most certainly put up a fight protecting his young. The Allosaurus makes the wise decision of avoiding that fight before it comes to fruition. But not all hope is lost. A small victory, but a victory that solidifies his survival for another day. He wastes no time gorging himself on the female Dinosaur. Another morning arrives as the stakes continue to rise for the herd. If they don't find water and suitable vegetation soon, most of them won't live to see another day. By mid-morning, the heat has rose to unbearable heights. The youngest among them struggle the most at keeping pace with the others in the herd. Dehydration begins to take its toll in one juvenile Stegosaurus as its pace slows to a crawl. Delirious from the never-ending heat, it's not long before it loses sight of the herd entirely. Within the hour, the harsh conditions prove too much for the juvenile. It collapses in the sand, embracing eternal slumber. The herd has found the mouth of another canyon. Desperate and out of options, they enter with weary steps. This is the path of no return, They will not be afforded a tomorrow. But something is different about this canyon. Glimpses of life take form in scattered vegetation. The sound of running water grows louder. The sight of fresh pasture fills this juvenile male with unbridled joy. But the end of the canyon has more to offer than fresh pasture. This is no mere oasis. This is a corner of land untouched by drought or fire. A sanctuary teeming with life, where water ebbs and flows. The herd cannot contain their excitement, eagerly running to the water's edge to quench their thirst. They drink deeply for the first time in days. Water has never tasted so sweet. And yet, this lost paradise has even more to offer. A familiar face emerges from behind thick brush. The bull can hardly believe his eyes at the sight of his lost mate. It is a joyous reunion that neither could have foreseen. They waste no time in reacquainting and partaking in the rich vegetation. Others decide their celebration is a well-deserved rest. Like the herd, a familiar survivor finds the secluded wetlands. Right now, he is not here in search for prey. The desert has left him scarred, dehydrated, and barely clinging to life. What he needs more than anything is water, and the opportunity to rest and recover his strength. The desert tested them. The storm scattered them. But here in the shelter of the wetlands, life begins to take root again. The world is harsh, unforgiving, yet life persists. It always has, and it always will.